The Airbus A380 first entered service in 2007, and to this day it remains the largest passenger aircraft ever built. It has room for over 500 passengers, weighs over 500 tons, and is as tall as an 8-story building. It was designed for a future where airports would become increasingly crowded and passenger demand would require aircraft of this size, essentially double-decker planes carrying hundreds of passengers between the world's biggest cities. But that future never quite arrived. Instead, today's long-haul aviation is dominated by smaller, more efficient two-engine aircraft. Airlines are reducing the number of 4-engine planes in their fleets, as operating a plane this large and with 4 engines doesn't make much sense anymore, economically at least. For Lufthansa, they almost said goodbye to the A380 as well. A few years ago they sent most of them to an airplane graveyard, but as travel demand came soaring back after the pandemic, they found themselves in a situation where they needed more planes quickly and decided to bring them back, and to even give them a new business class. Today, every opportunity to fly on one feels a little bit more special, so I'm excited that you'll be joining me on board of my first A380 flight today en route to Boston. My journeys usually start in Dresden, as that is my home airport of choice, and so I'm catching a quick flight down to Munich where I can then connect onto destinations that are a bit further away like today. One thing that you immediately notice in Munich airport is the amount of Lufthansa promotional displays for their 100-year anniversary. Everywhere throughout the building you can see pictures and information about the planes that they flew and some of the important events in their history. And when I say everywhere, I really do mean everywhere. Inside the terminals, on screens, on the planes themselves, but also inside the lounge, where they decided to honor this special anniversary by brewing a limited edition 100-year anniversary beer, which I had to try. Of course, it's good, and it's definitely a nice touch to make it all a bit more of an experience. The coolest thing they've done though, in my opinion, is to create these special liveries for their 100th anniversary. So far they've put 6 of their aircraft, each from a different type, into this special design, and I think it will remain more of a limited edition kind of thing, which makes it even more special. These planes are now flying all over the world, basically carrying the anniversary message with them, and they just look sick. Wherever one of them shows up at the airport, you see people pulling out their phones to take a picture. And I gotta be honest, I'm a big fan of this design myself. I think it looks really cool, and I love what they've done with it. So when I saw that I just happened to fly on board of not just an A380 today, but the special 100-year anniversary A380, I was like, I can't believe my luck. This is perfect, and makes the YouTube video even better. So thank you, Lufthansa, and the airplane nerd within me is excited about this for sure. It is now finally time to board, and this process is also a little bit different from your average aircraft. Today I'm taking the jet bridge that takes me upstairs to the upper deck, but I'm still sitting in economy. Lufthansa placed a small economy cabin right at the very rear end of the upper deck. There are only 5 rows up there, and this gives it a really, small and calm and quiet feeling upstairs compared to the hundreds of economy class seats below. My seat for today is right here in 97A, right next to this surprisingly small window. Another thing that you notice right away is that the overhead compartments on the side are kind of small. My suitcase didn't fit there. For more luggage space, and because of the shape of the A380, you have additional storage compartments on the side of the plane under the windows. And also the middle ones are larger, so you can put a suitcase there just fine. The good thing is though that these storage compartments on the side are rather large, and you can fit your pillow, your blanket and other personal stuff in there with ease. And you even have another one right next to you if your neighbor doesn't want to use it. What's also nice is the leg room. You really have quite a lot of space for your knees, not so much though for your feet though, as this box that is hiding all of the cabling and the technical compartments for your entertainment screen is really eating into your football quite a bit. That is one thing where you can really tell the plane's age, as most modern day aircraft don't really have that there anymore. And then one more thing that's fortunately a thing of the past are these buttons on the armrest. They're so easy to press because they're essentially right where your elbow is at. and then you might accidentally call the flight attendant or turn the light on or change the channel or do something that you don't want to do. Most modern aircraft just have this as a touchscreen button on the screen in front of you, but I really don't want to sit here and complain. Every flight on an A380 is special, so I can't wait for it to take off. And after all doors are in flight and we're finally being pushed back, you start to notice the dimensions of this plane just by looking out the window and seeing how small other planes look like in comparison, or during things like the safety video when it shows you that the A380 has 16 emergency exits. So technically an entire football team plus coaching staff could each take their own exit and nobody would have to fight over the same door. Kind of funny, but we're now heading towards the runway, and for this part I won't do a voiceover so you can really tell how quiet the A380 is when it's taking off. Did you notice how quiet this was? Compared to the sound of the people talking, you could barely hear that we were on one of the biggest planes on Earth that was taking off with 4 engines and just the weight of everything, but it was just so quiet. And another thing you notice immediately when you're taking off and climbing up into the air is that it does take a while to get up there, especially if you compare it to the other plane that was taking off at the same time as us on the other runway. I think especially if you're a bit of a nervous flyer, you might look out the window and think like, why aren't we going up faster? But it's just because of the weight of everything. After reaching the cruising altitude, the crew came around and handed everyone a paper menu with the drinks on offer and the food they are about to serve. Here in economy class, keep in mind, this is definitely a very nice touch and it feels very premium. This is all part of a new and improved onboard experience, as Lufthansa is calling it. They really want to invest into their food and drink offering and make it feel more premium. And they're calling it one of the largest investments in customer experience in their history. So I was quite excited to see what they had on offer, as this was my first time experiencing it. And it starts off with typical small pretzels. Very German for sure. This might be one of the few things that has not changed about their food service, because the meal that was coming up next was really surprising in a positive way. I ordered the barbecue chicken and it was really good. It might be the best thing I've ever had on a plane. It was really fresh, the quality was amazing, it was well seasoned, it just tasted really great. It was served with metal cutlery, so no plastic fork or knife. I'm not a food critic, but I would happily eat this again. Well done. Here's where you could really tell that they have improved the quality of their meal service. And it's paying off, so much that my camera decided, hey, I'm gonna take a nap. Together with the meal, you get a Lufthansa branded water bottle now, which is new. They used to just give you a regular branded one, like a one you could get in a supermarket. Now they have their logo on it everywhere. I really mean this, everywhere. I would have been fine with the normal one as well in economy, but in their effort to make everything more premium, it's definitely recognized. Well, and then there's a couple hours of nothing. We're just cruising over the Atlantic. Some people are sleeping, others are watching a movie. Since this is a flight during daytime, I'm also gonna stay awake. But if you do want to sleep, you can get some earplugs and an eye mask to help you fall asleep. And then it was time for the second meal service on this flight, and after the amazing first one, I was looking forward to this. But it's a bit of a letdown, as this is just your typical standard omelette type of thing that a lot of airlines are serving, including Lufthansa. They've been serving this for years as like a breakfast option on a lot of long flights, so a bit sad to see that nothing has changed here. Shortly after, we were already well into our descent, and with the beautiful New England coastline approaching, it was really just time for our landing. And after a little over 7 hours, we arrived safely and on time in Boston on what has been a really cool and unique experience. I've been wanting to do this for a while, and when I saw that Lufthansa is using the A380s on the route that I was traveling on, I knew I had to make a video about it. So, would I recommend this? Absolutely. Getting to fly on the upper deck of a plane is something so unique that not many people can say they have experienced it. And what's great here is that you don't have to spend a lot of money to fly in business or first, like you usually have to do. You can use this little economy section and just pay the amount for a seat reservation to make sure that you sit upstairs, because these seats are popular. It really is different from your average flight, and it's just a cool thing to experience and something that won't be around forever. So I'm happy you came along for the ride. I hope you enjoyed this, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.